Hey, thank you for joining in again today. I really appreciate it. Today we're going to be talking about your taxes for 2020. They're due on April 30th of this year. Just remember that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to my website today and I'm going to show you how you can actually calculate your taxes pretty fast. So if you need to use this calculator at any time of the year, that'd be great. And I'm also going to cover three different things that you should look for in your taxes this year that you may have missed. So let's go on to my website and I'll see you in just a second. All right, here we are at my website. So you can just punch it in just over here, Kherani.ca. I'll put that down at the bottom too as well. So you can just look at it and punch it in. So if we just go over here on my website, we actually go to About and we go to the bottom over here where it says Financial Calculator. So there's a lot of calculators on this website that you can use too as well. But today we're going to be taking a look at just tax rates. So if we just punch in, go into tax rates, and it's very simple to use. And you can actually print a report out for it too as well. So let's say we can pick a province, depending on what province you're in. We're in Ontario, so I'll pick Ontario. Let's say you have about $75,000 worth of income this year. You're just curious about what you want to get. So I just hit enter over there and it just calculated all the amounts. So you know your income tax, your net income, you'll know your average income and your marginal income. So these are two different things. And now, let's say you have some capital gains in there, or you have some eligible dividends or ineligible dividends. It'll also calculate that rate as well, so you know. So very simple to do this. And then what you can do is if you want to print it, you can print it. Let's say you want to change it and you want to do somebody else, and you can do $60,000. And we'll just tab through it. And again, it comes up with the whole amount. So it'll tell you what your average tax rate and a marginal, et cetera, et cetera. And you can print the report. So if you just hit print, it'll prepare the report for you as it did over there. And you can see it already downloaded it for me. So it's already on your computer too as well. I have nothing to do with it. I don't get anything, your emails or anything from it. So please use it as a reference point too as well. So let's go back, and I'm going to be talking about three different points that you should be looking for in your taxes for 2020. Hey, here I'm back again, and hopefully you enjoyed that little calculator that I showed you on my website. There's lots of other ones that you can use too as well, and I'll try to make some YouTube videos of those too as well. So what you need to look for when you're completing your 2020 taxes. So, and I've had a YouTube video on this one too as well. But remember, if you're working from home or your employer made you work from home, you may be eligible to deduct some of those expenses up to $400. Now, the important thing is that you will need a form. It's called the T2200 form, and you can just Google search that and it'll come up, or you can watch my other video. I also have a link to that form as well on the other video. So there were also many federal programs that are available in 2020 to help during this COVID crisis that we're having here. And I'm going to go through each one of them pretty fast, and I'll let you know what they're about. So there's a Canadian Emergency Response Benefit, and they call that a CERB. The other one is Canadian Relief Benefit, CRB. A Canadian Recovery Sickness Benefit, which is a CRSB, and a Canadian Recovery Care Benefit, which is CRCB. Oh my God, this is a lot of them, eh? And there's a Canadian Emergency Student Benefit too as well, which was called a CESB. Now, you'll have to report all these on your 2020 tax return, and you should have received your T4 by now too as well. Now, just remember, there was only one of them, which is the CRB, that didn't take any taxes off. Now, the taxes they did take off, the other ones was only 10%. So you probably end up going to pay more than that. But usually with, being a student, you probably have a less tax rate than that. So you may actually get a refund. Um, so the other part of it is that most of the governments have not extended the deadline date this year. So that's why we're sticking to April 30th. Last year, they extended and kept on going the whole year. I talked to a lot of accountants and they were a little bit frustrated because there was no end in sight, really. They just kept on working and working. Now, there is one more item that you should be aware of that not a lot of people are aware of too, is something called a Canadian Training Credit. Now, if you paid for tuition in 2020, you may be able to claim this because this is a brand new refundable tax credit that the government put out. So at the end of 2019, eligible workers between the age of 25 and 65 uh, can start accumulating this at the rate of $250 a year. So if you don't use it, next year it'll go up to 500, the year after 750, it'll just keep on accumulating. So they do have a lifetime maximum of this, and it's at $5,000. But if you go through any sort of training whatsoever, you can actually write it off on your taxes. You can claim the full balance, I guess, and whenever it accumulates to $5,000 if you wanted to at the end. So all the unused amounts, they just keep accumulating, so don't worry about that. And if you're not too sure whether you qualify for the Canadian training credit or what your balance is, check the notice of assessment that you get from CRA after you filed your 2019 taxes. Actually, it should be right on there. Or, what the best thing to do, and I always suggest everyone to do that, is to register on my account CRA. Because you know what? You'll be able to get all your T4s off of there. You'll be able to get your notice of assessment off of there, your RSP balance, your TFSA balance, instead of guessing what these things are. I think it's a great way to do it. I tell all my clients to do it. Register with CRA. It's the best thing that you can do. So on a final note, and remember, if you want to do your taxes, great, do them. Use a software if you want, but if you want them done correctly and you want to look at all the tax knowledge that's out there, use an accountant, because they have the most knowledge than anybody else. And when you have complicated taxes, it's best to use them. I found that people that even had less complicated taxes, they've lost over $2,000-3,000 worth. And you know what? You don't have to pay them $2,000-3,000 worth to do your taxes. It's really not that expensive. But anyways, I really appreciate you guys joining in. I hope you found value off of this too as well. And if you did, please share it with somebody else. Now on my YouTube too as well, just remember to subscribe just at the bottom over there. Hit the little bell so you'll get a notification when I bring out new YouTubes as well. Again, appreciate it. Take care. Until next time.